Morning. So today is day number 3 of attempting to pass the Topstep evaluation. And right now I'm looking at um, market activity since midnight. So we can see that here on the 11th, we've had some activity and it's been a bit of a dip and then trending upwards a little bit. So overall, you can see that the market's been kind of wild. If we go back before into yesterday, we saw large dips. There was the trading that was done, and very little. Seems like there's very little predictability in what's happening. So we'll be riding this line, um, maybe by the seat of our pants. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to get down to about 4 points, and we're going to pull this. Okay, so we've had a trend here, some steps. We had a trend here going up, a little bit of a drop off, trend going up. We can see a drop here, and 3 possible directions. It can either keep consolidating or it can pop up or pop down. So um, given that there is some action there, and if I'm using the type of categorical trading method that was suggested by Iman Trading, then I could make the uh, reasonable assumption that the market's going to keep trending upwards. There's no reason to think that it won't for now. But I'm going to see what this is trying to do right here. Now, as explained in the previous 2 videos, the idea here for the next few days is to um, make $500 each day, adding to the balance and proving consistency. No, I'm not going to take any trades right now. This is too chaotic. It looks like there may be something forming here. So if this starts to build, we may end up seeing a trend going up like that. And I'm going to say, let's buy one. And we're going to say it's likely to come up to here. Not looking for a huge amount. It was mentioned that there is I was trying to figure out some ways of being able to create videos without necessarily having to do all the extra work of blotting out the account names. It does do it up here. Unfortunately, it does not do it down here, so I'll be putting in the blocks to obscure those. So we're getting a little movement going up here. Again, it's pretty early in the morning. Um, I didn't start as early today. 6 o'clock is a little bit late for me. And I'm not a morning person. Uh, I'm only able to do this because there is a time difference. Okay, so we did manage to profit a whopping $2.76. Let's see if we can do another buy, and we'll try waiting for this to come down a little bit. Let's do that one. We'll come back up to 450. Okay, let that settle for a second. There is going to be I believe there's going to be a news alert sometime today. Yeah, so about 8:30, we're going to see a CPI. So I want to make sure I'm not in the middle of that when that's coming out. Let's see. So we have build up and a drop, build up, possible drop, but that is a fairly good sized candle. So what I could do is place an order somewhere in there. So let's do a sell, but we'll wait for there to be a green. Ah, just missed it. Okay, so we'll do a sell. We'll come down a tiny bit. Again to 350. Some trepidation there. People trying to decide. Now with that build up and then that dip, it looks like people are going to decide to start building up again. Or not. Check that out. Okay, so we dropped a bit. Let's take a look at where the market was going this morning. So we see a low down here of 1864. So far the high is 18816. That is, what is that? Not a 100 point, maybe an 80 point. Not even. That is 2036, 36 or 37. So I'm going to hold off on this and see if the trend picks back up. Again, the trend was up this way, having dropped an awful lot. And this is very choppy for my taste. I'm not a big fan of things moving all over the place like this. As far as an upper and lower, that's not, that's a very low number from the 11th, 704, all the way to 825. And the reason I'm looking at those is because if I take take a risk to say I'm going to just, buy something up here, hoping that, it climbs towards it, I want to be prepared that it could just drop all the way down. Okay, so I think I'll take some risk. And I'll buy one, but I'll come up here. I mean, this could just as easily keep trending down. You can see that. You've got a little bit of a step there. It keeps trending. Maybe get another step. Keep trending, another step. Or we could see this be a valley and then start trending up for the day. It's very hard to tell, especially when something is this choppy. You've got massive, massive changes like this. So it came up. Let's give him a second to see if we see a downtrend on either side. Let's try a market buy at 5. See if he pokes through there. And this could be scary. You have this dip, you have a build up, and another build up. Possibly another build up. But again, it could just as easily just drop through the floor. So I'm going to put this guy down here. So that's just below the previous low. Okay. So let's see. Let's give him a second to figure out what he wants to do next. Now, I would think that if we manage to get a little peak here and it continues to build upwards, I could take some larger risk for that. Because, again, this trend, the overall for this at this time period for the last hour and a half, seems to be building towards something. If it goes down to red, we'll do a buy. Okay, let's try a buy We'll say he's going to come up to here. We'll put our stop loss a bit further down. Now, if it continues to build, which would be nice, let's see about doing a buy just before it touches it. I don't know what an established trader would think of a technique like that, where you wait for it to get close, and if the momentum is there, you do it again and buy a larger lot. But for me, it's worked more often than it's failed in order to increase the RPL. So, and in previous days, I've seen certain deals where I had waited a long time, and sometimes the price comes back and sometimes it doesn't. So what I've decided to do is, if I do see trades that are going along in the tooth, I will start um, buying or selling in order to decrease the number of contracts I've got, to try and protect myself from a massive loss. So I'm going to try that. Let's see what happens here. Looks like it's running out of steam, so that may have been a mistake. I'm going to bring that down to 92. Okay. I think that was a respectable enough trade. Alright, let's give him a second to figure out whether he's going to keep building past this point, or whether there's going to be a downturn and we start trending towards this. Now, one thing that I've been trying to figure out on Topstep is, and I'll need to obscure the account number, but one thing on Topstep for the 50K is that it says you can only hold 5, and I believe it said positions. I'm not sure if it mentioned contracts, but it may have mentioned just positions. If that's true, then I could, buy 5 single contracts, and then I would have maxed out, the number of positions that I can hold. Or I could buy 5 numbers of 5 contracts. That would give me 25, and then that would max out the positions. So it looks like we have a little bit of a build. We may start trending up again. Let's give him a second. I think what I may do is if it hits this high, then I'll feel a bit more confident in doing some larger orders. I'm going to stretch this a bit so I can get a better view of the candles. For candles that are about this long or this long, it can be nice to stretch the screen so that you can make your buy-sell orders within the candle. So he's dropping down. And if we start to see some recovery, then it might be a good opportunity. And the last drop was here. This is as low as it got. That drop was, the drop here from the high to the low was 813 down to about 98, so about 15. So this is building up. Is it going to continue or is it going to crest and then drop off again? So this, as a drop off, it didn't drop any less than here. So I'm going to say it's going to continue to build. I'm going to make a buy there. And we're going to say it's going to come up to, well, we'll leave it there. Okay. Now is there going to be more momentum? If it drops a bit more, it'll be a nice boost. Let's do that. We're going to come up to here. What is that? Well, whatever happened there, it went through, so we're at 119. Okay, so is this a valley as it's building up? Could be. If we start to see another build up, then we might go with that. Let's go with +5. We're going to come up to here. We'll put our stop loss down here. It would absolutely suck if it gets down there. It's a fairly big drop. And it's continuing. Move to this guy. We went from 624. It's now 627. So 3 minutes. I'll have to make a decision within the next 2 minutes as to whether I'll start selling off some of these. So I'm going to sell one. And I'm doing that because There's no guarantee that this will come back. And I want to try and minimize the damage it does. A more wary trader may have just figured, well, you should have had your stop loss here, let it stop out, and then, make your money either falling further down the chain or building back up. Very hard to do when you don't actually know what the future of this is going to be. So, although I guess one technique might be to look at the point drop. So this was originally done at 809.75 right here. That is a 5-point drop. Let's go ahead and sell another one. Because if we do see it come all the way back up, then I'll likely put a buy-in of, 10 or 15. So you see a stair step here, a stair step here. It came down. It could be that this entire build could end up peaking here and then going down. Or it could just slowly build back up into the higher numbers. I'm going to sell one. So we had to build here, and build here, build up here. We'll see where it decides to go after this. Just flattened out. This could be interesting right here. Or it could be deadly. So where is it going to go next? We haven't gotten enough, or at least I haven't gotten enough um, candle movement to be able to say I'm going to buy at one end of a candle or another, or sell at one end of a candle or another. So I'm waiting for a direction. Looking at what the chart is doing overall, basically all over the place, just like it was. And you can see here, very little activity on these candles. Now with a little peak like that, it could be that it may end up trying to climb back up again. And just as soon as I said it, the candle dropped. Will it pull back? I don't know. Now that's interesting. Pretty dangerous too. Got that pullback. Now could this be, with these three peaks, could this itself be a peak of its own, peak of its own, peak of its own? Actually, let's keep him up there. So a little bit of a pullback. Will it build up? Be a build up. Or it could be pew. I forgot to unmute. Okay, so still waiting for this to come and meet us up here. I opened this because I was wondering if I might be able to do some type of limited buy if the candle managed to reach right around here, so that I can increase the number of contracts right before it pushes through here. Now it may never push through to up here. You can see that it's starting to lose steam and move on down again. This lot right here may have been the high for this hour or so. If so, we might just be justified in just pulling the plug on this particular trade and trying to make something of whatever's down here. It's crazy, just as soon as you say it, the market tends to respond. Yeah, I think I'm going to pull the plug on that. We're still 27 in, and I'm going to come back to this in just a minute or two. I'm going to get myself a drink. Maybe the market will do something interesting while I'm away from the desk. Be right back. Okay, it's been a few minutes. I've gotten myself a drink, and it looks like the market is trying to do something. So we saw a drop right here. Do a sell of one and see if we can make anything of that. Now, it would be interesting to see if this goes below here. Otherwise, I get the feeling it may climb back up and actually go above here. I'm going to do a buy. I'm going to buy 15. I'm going to come up to here. I'm buying 15 and I'm coming up here because I feel like the top and bottom here, this is about the middle. And I mean, I don't know that this is a return to median approach, but it seems like there's a desire for the market to want to move back up. And it looks like it's trying to do something, so I may buy another 15. Maybe come back up here. Okay. Well, that popped up really fast. Looks like people want to buy something. Okay, I'm going to wait for this to calm down for a second. If we get another candle, okay, there's the pullback. If we get another candle starting to drift upwards, then that might be a good sign. Otherwise, we'll let it go for another one or two candles and see if it starts to go up or down. Okay, now this is interesting. Okay, if this guy doesn't go below here, there may be some interest in keeping the price up. And it's just after 7, so I'm guessing a lot of people are just now getting into maybe their hedge fund offices or banking offices, getting an early start. Well, let's look at this in comparison to what happened earlier. It was a little earlier, the second before that. Now, should I buy or sell? Because that's an interesting size of candle. And if I had bought, I'd banking right now. Again, hindsight plays a lot of tricks on you. Okay, maybe we can get something. This comes back down a little bit. By 5. Let's come back up a little bit. Okay. Expand this and see if we can jump into some of these candles. We want to do a buy or a sell. Is it going to start coming down here again? If we see another 1 or 2 candles going red this direction, I think I would. That is a lot of a drop though. Let's do a sell of 5. Sell 15. Sell 15. Okay. So if this follows, then we may see a little bit of a recovery near the bottom. Of course, the bottom is relative, so. You see some buying? Let's do some buying. Let's come up to here. And that looks kind of weird. Very large candles, but okay, let's do a sell of 5 just to be conservative. I'm going to come part of the way down. What are we going to see next? Okay. All right, let's let this play out before we take another bid. So I was muted, so I was saying that in situations where the candles overlap, you can see where using the price action within the candle can be really beneficial. You know, if you can restrict yourself to just making trades within longer candles, that can help tremendously. Of course, you don't know what the candle's going to be, so like I said, um, you could just as easily have had a candle start here and just keep on going. Right now, I'm trying to wait for something to establish itself. It does look like it's trying to climb out. And by climb out, I mean, go above the high that was previously established within, the last couple hours. There were previous highs. So is this going to be the beginning of another peak and a dip? If it does start to move up, then we might see peak and a dip, and then a higher peak and a dip. I think what I might do is wait until we see a lower uh, candle before trying to do a buy. I think a buy will be my next. So what does this guy want to do? Could actually be building to just keep going. Let's try that. The market is suggesting that we build up. So let's try. Let's do Let's go a little bit higher than that. Mm, Jumped there before I could even make a purchase. Okay. So I'm looking here and we started at hmm, actually I can't really tell. Let's go back here. Looks like we started around 6 o'clock. It's now 7:15, so we've been going for an hour and we're almost halfway to the 500 target. I'm not in too much of a rush. Again, when it comes to trading, patience is a virtue. Okay, so that looks like a fairly healthy. Do I want to sell? Do I want to sell? Let's sell. But we'll just do one. It might drop a little bit before it bounces back up. And that's only $1. The shame of $1. But look at that. It looks like it's starting to build away from it. Okay, so let's do a buy. And I'm going to do a buy of 15 because he is going to come up. At least I think he's going to come up. There's been a lot of interest up here, so. And I'm going to buy a maximum of 45. Okay, we got the 45. We're going to buy, let's try another one. We're going to put them up to about there. That's coming down a lot, but you can kind of see there we got to a peak valley, we got to a higher peak, but then we came down and we don't know what we're doing here. So now, is he starting to crest and head downwards? Or is this just a dip to build upwards? Now, this is an interesting time frame from 6 o'clock to right now. We can see that the price has diminished a little bit. Look at this guy. Now that's a severe drop. With a pullback, now is this all here just to build on this platform and then start building up again? Maybe. Okay, let's give him a second to figure out whether he's going to dip or continue upwards. And it's not unreasonable to think that it's going to go down. I mean, we can see that for every forward step, there's been a back step almost. So it wouldn't be an illogical trade to take. Okay, so I'm going to do a sell. I'm going to do a sell of 15. Smooth them up a smidge. And I'm going to get ready to do another sell to bring it up to 30. All right, so we got to 30. So let's do a buy here. There seems to be some interest about staying around this level. Okay, so we got this. Got it trying to climb down, but it may start to build back up again. Now we're just waiting. Interesting. Seeing a big drop. And so I'll look at these, and if it's going down but we have enough flexibility in the candle, now that might have been a mistake because I could see that it was green before I bought it. But these were getting shorter. It looked like interest was waning. Yep, that was a mistake. I'm going to buy back 5 to bring this from 15 to 10. And this, yep. One of the issues I've seen with the Topstep implementation, but it happens in, um, no, it's just been the Topstep implementation. What tends to happen is the longer you use the application, the slower it tends to get. I'm sure that the ATR calculation that this is doing isn't helping. And so occasionally you'll have to reload. So at the moment I'm trying to minimize the damage I did when I did the trade here. Trying to see if we get a candle that comes closer so that I can sell off a couple of these contracts. Stretch this out so we can see the candles. So I was thinking about something else. I should have sold off at least five down here, and I didn't. Um, I think I was getting preoccupied with the fact that it was trending downwards and was thinking, well, maybe it will continue. It's not a good practice to get into. Paying attention is important. Yeah, you've got a very clear trend line starting to develop here. Not good for me. So I am going to. What am I going to do? I think I'm going to see if I can come down just a little bit and then. Okay. Oh, sell five. Ooh, I clicked the wrong button. That might be an indication that I need to take a break. So right now, the thought process in my head is this seems to be curving. And looking at these, you can see a curve here. It went down, trends up, goes around, drops down. If I'm letting my imagination run away with me, then I might say that, oh, well, maybe it'll curve down and it'll start to drop. It's a possibility, but it's going to take a while to get there if it ever does. thing. Bring it closer. Bring it closer and hope for the best. Well, I think we're going to try and jettison some of it. We've got to. There's too much of a chance that this is just going to pivot back up, which it just did. Now, if we have a substantial pullback, we might be protected, but no, no, we didn't. And that's insane. All right. And we're going to bail on the whole thing. All right. All progress lost. I think what I'm going to do is take a nap and come back just after 8:30 when maybe the market has calmed down a bit and I've gotten a bit more rest. So right now we are at 53,603 and negative 86.43. And we'll pick this up in about an hour.